Hello, am I audible? Guys, please write in the chat. Yes or no, I'm audible or not. Okay. Okay, we will start in another 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Let people join. Okay, I think we can start right now. So in this session, we are going to solve a data set which is known as vehicle data set, and it is present on our Kaggle. So let me share the link of that. Guys, please try to download the data set over here. We are going to solve. It is a type of vehicle data set in which we have columns like car name, year, selling price, fuel. Guys, you are able to see, right? Are you able to see my screen? Yes or no? Please give it write into the chat. Okay. Try to download the data set over here. So anyone who can tell me what will be the target column here in this data set? Guys, don't do this. Just don't try to. Anyone who can tell me what will be the label over here? What is a target column? See, we have columns like selling price, year, car name, and how much car is driven, fuel, seller type, pricing car. See, there are two types of pricing, I think. Yes. Selling price is available. So what is the type of this data set? Regression or classification? What do you think? Yes, regression, right. So try to download this data set. I have shared the link already. Let me open my Jupyter notebook over here. Let's create a new notebook to solve this problem. So let's import some libraries, imported libraries that we are going to use. First is our pandas to read our data set. Second one is our NumPy. Third one is our Seaborn library to visualization. For the visualization, we are going to import Seaborn over here as NSX. Matplotlib, we also can use it, but here I am going to use it as Seaborn because Seaborn is very easy library that we are going to use. So let's show our data in a variable. For that, we have to use pd.read underscore csv because our data type, our type of this file is csv. So our file name is our car data.csv. So this is our data. Can anyone tell me what is the main problem in this data set? Please write the problems in the chat so I can see. What problems you can observe in this data set? Categorical data, yes. Owner has zero value. No, we are not going to drop owner column. We will try to understand why. Okay, tell me one thing. Can we use this data set, car name? Yes or no? Please write in the chat. How we can use it, car name? Okay, what will be the first step? We should take care of that. First of all, we should see the null values over here. Checking the null values. Can anyone tell me what will be the command to check the null values? Please write in the chat. Yes, is null dot sum also we can use it. It will try to give us, see over here, we have no null values. It is simply means we have not any null values over here. We don't have any nan values. Now, third thing we can do with the help of describe the data. We can describe the data. Okay, tell me one thing. Describe function. How describe function will help us? What are the values it will give us? Describe. It will give us a maximum value. Yes, some will statistics. That's right. It will give us a minimum value. It can give us the standard deviation value. Skewness of data outliers, right? That is right. For that, we can use data.describe. So can anyone tell me how we can check the skewness of our data with the help without any visualization? Anyone? Without any visualization, how we can see our data is skewed or not? No one? No one knows about that? Variance? No. See, the easy thing is that we can find a column of, we can find the mean and median of our column. If the mean is very greater than our median, then we can say it is rightly skewed. And if our mean is really low than our median, then we can say it is our left skewed. Pandey Prerna. See, we have selected a data set, car price prediction, in which we have our label column, selling price, and we have some feature columns. With the help of that, we are going to predict our selling price column. Yes, normal plot, we can do it. Gaussian distribution plot you are talking about, I think. Now, we should know what are the different type of values in our column we have, right? So for that, can anyone tell me what will be the command for the unique values? I want to see the unique values in each column. Because we can say fuel type we have 301 rows. Maybe it can be CNG also can present in the fuel type. Label encoding. No, I want unique values. Yes, df got unique, right. So now see, we have three categorical columns here. One is our fuel type, transmission, seller type, and owner. We have four categorical columns, right? Right or no? We have four categorical columns. So for that, let's say we are storing a name over here, fuel type. So we have underscore fuel type. Second one is our transmission. Third one is our seller type. Last one is our owner. Let me see our spellings are wrong or not. Yes, our spellings are totally correct. So what we can do, data in the list full type dot unique. That is also part of that. But I am going to simple write a for loop over here for I in a. What we are going to do in a simple command, we are going to see all the values in one simple line. Can anyone tell me what will happen after this command? If I execute this command, what will happen? Let me zoom it. If I execute this command, what will happen? Anyone? Unique values in each categorical column. Yes, that is right. Let's execute this. Now, as you can see in a fuel type, previously we were not able to see CNG value over here, but we have CNG value as well. And in the owner, we have three values 0, 1, 3. And I think someone was saying that we should remove this column. No, that is not clear. Now let's do one thing. Let's finalize our data. Let's make our let's do some pre-processing over here. Now anyone can tell me what we can do with the help of year column? How we can handle our year column over here? Okay, no one is here using iLog. What using iLog? First of all, we have to do some pre-processing over here before using iLog. Let's say we are going to finalize our data. Finalizing our data set in which we are going to handle our all the columns. Transform to date and time. No, we can do it more one easy way. You see, first of all, let's see. So we can create a new column over here, new year, and we can give a value of 2021 because now it's 2021. So what we are going to do over here, we are going to add a new column over here. It will show how the car is old. What we are going to do over here, we are going to subtract this value. We are going to subtract this value with 2021. So I think it will be the best idea to solve this type of data set. Now let's see after this what will be the data over here. So you can see over here we have added a new column over here in which we have values 2021. Now we are going to just subtract both the columns over here. Now it will try to show us okay how old our car is. So we will write data. We are going to create a new column over here. How old? We are going to just subtract our both the columns. Now let's see what will be our data frame. Now as you can see how old our car is. Our car is old 7 years, 8 years, 8 years. Now is it more easy way or not? Rather than transforming to date and time. Now we can delete the new year and our year columns. Yes or not? Tell me in the chat. Is it a good way or not? So what we can do right now? We can simple create a new variable over here and we can say data.drop in which we can pass our columns in which we have to delete our year and our new year. In this way we have similarly in this way we have to create some more logical operations over here. Doesn't mean we are going to use same that columns. Instead of adding new column, we can directly subtract the column from 2021. Yes, that is true. But really here I want to show you the implementation. That's why I done this. So now we are going to subtract, we are going to drop this column as well because there is no use of this type of columns. We cannot compare a car with the name of this car. We have to compare a car. We should compare a car with this type of informations, right or not? If you are buying a car, you will not see, okay, it is a red 6S Ciaz. You will see what type of information they have, what type of features they have, how car the old is. So here, simple, we are going to uh, we are going to simple drop this column, and we will say x is equal to 1. X is equal to 1 means column wise we have to delete. I think now you can see over here. Now year has dropped, new year has dropped, and car name is also dropped. Now what is left? Anyone? What is left over here? Can we use seller underscore type and transmission column? Yes, we are going to use it. Don't worry. But to use that, what do you think? What is the problem in that? So write in place equal to true. Yes, we can write it again, but we don't have any. We don't have any issue with that. Categorical variable. Yes, that is right. Now we are going to use our pd dot get underscore dummies over here. Now what it will do? Yes, Karan, right. Now tell me one thing. PD. Now let's say I'm taking a variable PD dot get underscore dummies. Now it is a function over here to use our hot encoding over here. Now we are going to pass our simple variable of our data frame. Now we will say drop underscore first is equal to true. Now the question is what it will do. Before the executing this, I want the answer from your side. Okay, no one is here. Till now, no, I haven't get any push answer over here. It will mark 0 and 1 based on the values of the variables. Yes, that is right. Okay, let's see. Now, again, here is a question. Where is our CNG column? How we will get to know, okay, our CNG is there or not? This is the main question. Similarly, we have not any transmission underscore automatic as well. How we will get to know? Yes, that I want to explain. Drop underscore first equal to true. What does it do? I want to explain this thing. Let's see over here. Let's take a new variable. Let's say s equal to pd dot get underscore dummies over here. Again, we are going to do it, but without drop underscore first equal to true. Now let's see what will happen. Now here you can see we have three values over here. Now try to see over here. We have 0 over here. We have 0. We have petrol 1. But it will try to show us. It will say, no, you don't have any CNG in your car. No, you don't have any diesel in your car, but you have petrol. Right? Yes or no? The chat. Now, similarly, we have for individual and automatic as well. Individual, automatic, and our manual. It will try to show that okay, individual is not automatic. No, it is not a automatic car. Yes, it is a manual car. Similarly here also. Now what? We can reduce the number of columns as well. Suppose we have a diesel. We don't have any diesel. We don't have any CNG. So directly we can say yes, we have petrol. Anyone? True refers to the 0, 1, 2. If only 0 and 1 are there, there is a number of elements to 2. Yes, Karan, right. Removing one column to reduce the model training time. Yes, that is true. So we are going to remove this type of columns, CNG and our automatic. Because of that, we have put drop underscore first equal to true. So I think we can remove it now. So I hope you are able to understand why we have used drop underscore first equal to true. Yes or no? Now let's use some visualization over here. Let's say we have already imported Seaborn as SNS. Let's use pair plot. Let me use pair plot and pass a variable over here. Now anyone can tell me, are you able to see any linear relationship over here? Are you able to see any linear relationship in this picture? No. That's why can we use linear regression in that case? Yes, that is why we cannot use any linear relationship over here because this type of columns are not showing any linear relationships. Now let's separate our X and Y. Let's separate our feature columns and our label columns. So I'm taking a capital X and I will say I lock. Try to understand over here in our data frame. First column is our label, and the rest of the things are our feature columns that we are going to use over here. So I will say over here, select all the rows over here, select all the rows, comma, take only first and start the taking values over here. So what it will do, it will skip your first index. It will skip your 0 index, and rest of the things it will take your, it will try to put in your X. Now for the y, I will say q.ilog, take all the rows and give us only first column and give us our values. Now let's see what will be our. Okay, let me see. Okay, it should be ilog. Now again it is giving some values. Let me see what is the issue. Okay, it should be values. Now let's see what is our x. Now as you can see, x is our values over here and our y is, it is our selling price. It is our prices. Now again, after that, we have to separate our data into our training and our testing data set. For that, we need to use our train test split. Now we are going to import this from sklearn dot model underscore selection. We are going to import train underscore test underscore split. If we are saying our training data, and after that we need our test data as well. Similarly for training as well, y train, and we need our y test. Now again we are going to use our train test split. Then now we have to pass our x and y because we want to separate from data from our x and y. Now our last parameter will be test underscore size. What will be the size of our testing data? Let's say we are taking 25% data as our testing data. Now let's say we are going to use our random state equal to 0. Can anyone tell me what is random state? Please write in the chat. No one knows? Random split well. Repeat the question, sir. What will random state will do? That's my question. So that we cannot different output. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Now here we reproduce the same problem when we run again and again. It will reproduce the same data, no values. Random values will same every time, yes. But it depends on your value over here. If you press 42, if I also give the value of 42, you and me will get the same answer. So now here we are going to use our random forest regressor as in our sklearn.ensemble technique. We are going to import our random forest regressor. Let's say we are giving a variable known as predictor. It will be our object of our random forest regressor class. Can we use logistic regression? Yes, you can try to use. But one thing, logistic regression, no, we cannot use it. Logistic regression is for classification. Why we are using ensemble techniques? Specific need? No, you can use a decision tree as well. But ensemble techniques are really good, better than our decision tree. In the random forest regressor, it is a type of bagging technique, and it will contain more than one decision tree. That's why we are going to use it. Now we have to pass our training data as well in order to fit our data. Predictions, let's say, okay, predictor dot more accuracy or any other else. Can we use gradient boosting regressor? Yes, you can try it. Let me fit the data over here. Let's say training, and we are going to give our white tree. Now our model is fitted over here. Now let's try to prediction. Let's try to predict our testing data as well. We can say predictor dot predict our test data over here. Now let's see what will be our predictions. Now these are our predictions, right? Now the question is, if our predictions are very close to our actual data, so can we say it will follow also Gaussian distribution? Because the standard deviation also will also should be same near to that, right? So can we say it will also follow the Gaussian distribution? Depends. Okay. Okay, let's see. It is following or not. This plot, we are going to say, we are going to just minus our data over here. So let's say we are going to just minus our predictions with the actual data. Okay, there is no predictions. Okay. Now let's see. It's, yes, see, it is following, but it is a little bit of skew, right? Little bit of skew. So in a random forest regressor, tell me one thing: in a random forest regressor, is scaling is required or not? Standardization, scaling is required or not? In a random forest. No, guys, it is not. Scaling it is not mandatory. Mujibur Rahman. Scaling is not mandatory in the random forest regressor. But yes, if it is showing a little bit of skewness, we can use it. For now, we are not going to use it because it is following a Gaussian distribution more clearly over here. So now anyone can tell me for the hyperparameter tuning what we can do? We should use grid search CV or randomized search CV. Take the parameters, yes, that is right. But with the help of grid search CV or randomized search CV. Grid search CV. Mujibur Rahman. Are you? See, grid search CV is more CV is mainly used for classification. Remember one thing. Grid search CV is mainly used for classification. Yes, we can use it, but it is not mandatory over here. First of all, let's see our accuracy of this model without applying any hyperparameter tuning. So we are going to use our R2 score over here, Oscar value. For that, let's import this sklearn.matrix import R2 underscore score. Let's say, so let's print our R2 score value over here. Or we can use it that as well, mean squared error, mean absolute error as well. Okay, y is not there. Okay, what is y? Sorry. So it should be our. Okay, before that, Let me do one thing. One thing I missed, that I have to. What is? Let me this. Let me see. 1 second. We have to reshape our data as well before that, because at that time it will give us our value, it will give us our error. So let me take this. Till that, tell me what is the difference between git search CV and randomized some CV in the chat. This chat told me that. Tell me what is the basic difference between our git search CV and randomized search CV. Till that, let me reshape my data over here. White test dot reshape. We can use, and we are going to just use it. We are just reshaping our data. So we can say predictions dot reshape -1. What happened? No one ever have any answer for that. You don't know about the basic difference between our git search and randomized search CV. In git search CV, all combinations are used as parameters. In randomized search CV, parameter sets are chosen in random. Yes, that is exactly fine. That is a great answer that you have given. Muzibur Rahman, thank you for that. You were given the correct answer. Now let's check the R2 score over here. Let's pass our actual data and our training data, predictions that we have to find out. Now, as you can see, it is giving us the 92% of accuracy over here. It is closer to 1. But what happens if we apply the hyperparameter tuning over here? What do you think? Accuracy will increase or decrease? If we are going to use our randomized search CV, the accuracy will increase or decrease? Increase. It should increase, but remember one thing: this type of randomized search CV and git search CV, it needs large amount of data. That only then only it will try to increase. Let's check it is will increase or not. It can decrease as well because we don't have any large number of our data. Let's try to import randomized search CV. Now let's take a variable over here, random underscore grid, or we can say just random. And inside that, what type of parameters we can have inside the random forest? Anyone? First of all, we can have n underscore estimator. What do you mean by n underscore estimator? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by n underscore estimator? Is that, let me write over here some values range over here. Number of estimators, that's fine. What do you mean by estimator? I am asking that. Number of trees, yes, exactly. So here we are going to use it in between 90 and 1300. We are just randomly taking a 12 number of estimators over here, not 12 number of estimators. We are going to start over here from 90 to 1300 in our n underscore estimator. It will decide our number of trees over here. Now we have one more feature over here, one more parameter, which is known as max underscore depth. It will try to define the depth of our trees. For X in linspace, np.linspace. I hope you know about the linspace over here. It's just a basic thing over here that we are going to do. Okay, that you write. We can say third one, we have features, like what type of features we can apply in our model. It can it can be two things like auto and square root. SQRT, simple. These are some parameters over here. And last thing I'm going to apply over here, leaves. In our trees, we have leaves, right? In our decision trees as well. We can say it can be 1, 4, 6, 8. Okay, what is the issue with that? Okay, I just forgot the commas over here. Now let's take a variable and try to fit our hyperparameter tuning over here. We are saying hyper random. We are going to just use our randomized CV over here. And we are passing our estimator that we have already used, our predictor. It simply means we are going to use our random forest regressor. Our predictor simply means we are going to use our random forest regressor that we have recently used. Let me show you over here. You can see over here we have an object something known as predictor. We are going to use over here simple predictor. And what will be the parameter distributions? It will be our randomized search, or we can say random. Are you able to get it right? Right or no? Are you getting these points? Please type in the chats. Now the turn is scoring. How we will compare with the help with metrics. Which metrics we are going to use? We are going to use mean squared error. Negatively mean squared error. The number of the iterations we will take 11. And CV simply means as cross additions. Internally, we are going to use it for 6. And anyone now again can tell me what do we mean by n underscore jobs? Here we are going to use it one. Anyone who can tell me what is the meaning of n underscore job? Number of processors, yes. Try to observe over here. I am opening my task manager. Guys, if you have large number of data in millions, never try to use n underscore jobs is equal to -1. It will hang your computer. It will take your all the processing units. Try to see when I will apply over here hyper underscore random, when we are going to fit our data over here. Let me see, there is an error, small error. Random forest eraser over here. Check the list available in the parameters with distributor get parameters please. Let me see what is the issue. And underscore parameters. Predictor is fine. What is the issue then? Let me see what is it. Okay. Randomized search CV estimator is equal to predictor. That is fine. Parameter distributions also right. Value parameter and underscore estimator first. Don't know what is the issue now. Okay. I think it should be estimators. Okay, now it's working. Now try to see over here. It will take my CPU usage. Are you able to see it is increasing? Okay, I have not. Let me do one thing. Let me print the messages. Internally, it is doing, but it is not showing any messages over here. Let me interrupt this. Let me show you the messages over here. Suppose we can say, yes, exactly, verbose. Let's give two. And random state also we can give. Let's say we are going to give 42. Now, as you can see, it is trying to show you the, it will try to show the cross validations here. Now it is taking a 3 seconds for each iteration. Now let's see hyperparameter tuning will increase or decrease the accuracy or not. Let's see what will happen. But what I think it will decrease the accuracy because we have very less number of data and hyperparameter tuning needs, especially randomized search training, needs a large number of data to learn the things. Till that, what do you think? It will increase or decrease? Anyone? Why is no one is replying? What happened? Okay, let's see. Okay, now let's see. Training's done. Now we have to check what are the best parameters that it is able to find out. For that, we have a simple command dot best underscore parents. Simple. It will try to show us the best parameters that it will try to find out. Now let's see what will happen if we try to make some predictions. Hyper random dot predict. Let's give our test data again. Now let's see our predictions. Okay, now it's our predictions, right? Now let's compare print R2 underscore score. We have to provide our predictions and our simple test data over here. Now, yes, before that we have a 92% of accuracy. Now we have 82% of accuracy. It decreased accuracy. That is the main issue, that randomized search CV needs large amount of data to learn the things. Guys, are you able to do it or not? I hope you are trying with me. Finally, what you can do, you can save that model with the help of pickle. Now we are going to just saying file is going to open, and the file name we are saying that car underscore predictions. The extension will be .pkl, and it should be in our write mode. And simple, we are going to dump our this. Now it depends you are going to take hyperparameter tuning model, or you are going to take the simple predictor. That was only what was that? Random forest regressor. I think we should take random forest regressor because it was giving a good accuracy, 92% of accuracy. Now if I do this, okay, pickle.dump. Now if I show you in my directory, I think it should be there. So as you can see, car prediction.pkl, it is there. And you can use this type of models to predict again and again. Now I think it is complete. I think now I am hoping that you are going to do it your task. Yes or no? So how was it? How was the session? The important thing is you have to handle the pre-processing stages. That is the main. Musibar, I have a doubt. Just say, write your doubt in the chat. Anyone who have their doubts, they can write in the chat. So can you explain cufflink library? See, cufflink library simply means pipe. I think pipeplot also there. These are for your 3D plotting. I think this type of things we always try to explain in our PG programs. If you don't know what courses, you can visit the website. You can try it again. You can try it there. What is Keras? Keras is a simple application. It is a type of API which is integrated with the TensorFlow 2. More, if you are using TensorFlow more than 2 version, I think there you have to use your Keras application. Inside that you have many different type of models used for CNN, I think. So without any pre-processing, without any null data, I'm getting 100% of accuracy with logistic regression when I feed the data. The variables have values with just 0 and 1s. How to correct this overfitting? without any pre-processing. You said now, without any pre-processing you have done. Without any pre-processing, if you will do, you will get overfitting model. You have to do some type of pre-processing over here. Like I have done, right? Year column. I have changed totally. What pre-processing should be done? We have only 0 and 1. Okay. What is the data? Tell me first. What is the data? Task 1. Okay, let me see. I will inform you in the Telegram group. Okay, for this video will be uploaded in this Matrix YouTube channel. Let me show you one thing. You can visit our YouTube channel. If you have any doubts and if you have any clearance you want to do, you can visit the channel and you can see the videos as well. We have uploaded many type of videos like on decision tree and first regression we are going to upload. Practical implementation we have done. You can visit the website and you can watch the videos. In the next section, you can share your screen and you can ask the questions. Okay, now if you have any questions, last. Okay, so thank you so much for joining the session. You will see, we will meet in the next session. Thank you so much. Best of luck for your internship. Bye. This video will be uploaded on Prismatics YouTube channel, so that rest of the persons can see this.